It's time to focus on the things you need, the things you deserve. You deserve a healthy body, supplements that get you moving and keep you moving, that make you feel good, look good, do good. And they shouldn't contain GMOs, artificial ingredients, or heavy metals, ever. Supplements that are clinically studied, use proven absorption technologies, are designed by scientists, and are ethically sourced and produced. Supplements with everything you need, nothing you don't. You deserve a company that you can trust, that's dedicated to safe manufacturing practices and third-party testing, that ensures the highest quality of effectiveness from extraction of ingredients all the way to the composition of the packaging. Wait a second. You deserve to see the process. You deserve a company led by a CEO with a deep belief in the power of people, dedicated to inspiring entrepreneurs to achieve success. A company with a phytonutrient chemist and expert on natural molecules who is obsessed with human health and has your best interest in mind to design its products. A board comprised of talented doctors from around the world. You deserve to be surrounded by people you trust and look up to. Empowered ambassadors that inspire wellness every day. Leaders who are rooting for you to be the best version of yourself. A community that works hard and plays hard. You deserve to experience adventures that take you around the world, and you deserve to be recognized for your hard work. It's time to get what you deserve. It's time to shift your focus. 3.
Good evening. I'm Christine Peterson from the mountains of Colorado, and I'm excited to hopefully empower you tonight. You know, I was reflecting this morning and this afternoon, I thought, 43 years ago, someone introduced me to this industry. I didn't know anything about it. I had been a teacher for 17 years, just trading time for money. And can you imagine this? In 1982, I would bring home $2,000 a month. And when someone introduced me to this amazing platform and industry, my first response, of course, was, oh, I would never do anything like that. And I want you to know that there are going to be people like me, but you can change people's lives. And I'm so thankful somebody had the courage to talk to me. I remember very well, I had a friend and she called and she said, I'm having a business opportunity. Would you come up? And I really kind of went there just to help her out. And that evening I was presented with a platform, a new company. And I was like, well, sounds pretty exciting, but I don't know, can I really do it? And when I left that evening, they said, well, they thought I'd be great. But I was thinking, I hope I can, but I didn't let on. And I want you to remember, this is part of your training. People don't always tell you what they're really thinking. And I said that evening, it sounds great, but you know what? I think I'll just stick to teaching. Well, a seed had been planting. And in our business, we plant a lot of seeds. We throw lots of seeds in the garden. Some sprout up right now. Some take 3 months. Some never sprout. Some sprout a year later. But you got to plant a lot of seeds. And it was this time, it was March of 1982. And she had planted a seed. And about 3 months later, it was May, and I was thinking, oh gosh, what am I going to do? My husband's job, it was changing. And his business, he had been in the real estate development business, and things were changing there. And I was saying, I really need to make more money. And I'm really tired of teaching school and getting no economics value really out of it, and no dreams could come living from paycheck to paycheck. And then suddenly I went like, well, wait a minute. What was that thing my friend said? So I picked up the phone and I called her and I said, can I come up? How much does it cost to join that company? And she told me, and I said, can I come up right now? Now, when I drove up, she immediately said, well, I was surprised. I mean, I said, where's the paperwork? Let me sign up. Now, lesson number 1, when someone says, I'm ready to do it. You don't have to say, let me tell you about all the products and start going through it. You just say, here's the paperwork. I filled it out. I said, by the way, could I try this product? Oh, yes, in a week I could try the product. I said, okay. So I went back. Long story short, uh, my director in the other company that I had met that evening lived in San Francisco, and she called and said, "Oh, I heard that you're joining our company and how great this is." And we were surprised. And so I said, "Yes, I'm excited." And so I invested some inventory. And then the next week, I went back to my friend's house to try the product out, and she wasn't there. And I never saw her again. Can you believe this? Now, this is another rule. Don't ever blame your recruiter for your success. I looked at it as an opportunity. Well, okay, I'll look in the yellow pages and I'll find someone because my director was in another part of the country and there was nobody around me. So I got excited. And every day I would teach school and then I would go out and do appointments and I started building and then I created this energy and this movement. And this is really part of how you build a empire. You have to act the part. You have to feel the part. You have to create the energy. You have to, nobody follows a parked car. So I started immediately telling everybody that we're going to build this area and it's going to be the biggest area ever. And of course, there was nobody there. I was out there in the avocado land. I lived in a rural area, but I believed, and this is what is so important in this industry. You don't look right. You don't look left. You just continue believing before the evidence appears. Success is a mind game. So I started building and I became a director in this other company. And then I moved on to Texas and I moved all over the country to Chicago, to Miami. I built in Mexico. I was in that company for 27 years and had an amazing experience. I made so much money. And I never imagined that I would make this kind of money. In fact, when they said to me, "How much would you like to make?" I said, "Well, gee, if I could just make 4,000 a month, I'd be happy," because I was making $2,000. Uh, I never imagined that I would make the amount of money that I eventually made into the millions. But I think there are a lot of people that don't know about our industry, and maybe you don't really understand what you have in your hands. And I want you to think about this tonight because there's times in our industry that are even easier to build, and you could really build a business quicker and faster. And so, our MLM industry right now is over $200 million. It's like an umbrella of many, many, many companies. And by 2020 or 2032, it will be over $400 billion. It's actually bigger than the NFL and movie industry together. I love it. We built more 6 and 7 figure earners out of this than any other in the world. And I love it. We changed lives. It doesn't matter your background. You have to have a high school diploma. You got to have a PhD. It's a level playing field for everyone, for every color, every language. It's That's what I love. And you change so many lives. Do you realize that 116 million people are involved worldwide in the MLM industry? 74% of network marketers are female. Interesting. Yes. Most network marketers are between 35 and 44. Although I do see trends now that we have a lot of people in their 50s and 60s that are going to be laid off because of changing things in our world that I'm going to talk about in just a second. So that could be a good market too. Over 60% of networkers have college degrees. Interesting. Now you might think, oh, they're degreed, they wouldn't be interested, but they are. They're smart, they're entrepreneurial, they're looking for new opportunities. Over 80% of networkers use social media to promote their business. Yeah, when I started the industry 43 years ago, we didn't even have cell phones. And I remember driving up and down the freeway, and then I have to go home and make my calls, make my sales, and do all of that. There was no Zoom calls. I had to go to meetings. It seems like I was on the road. Now you can be really, really efficient using social media, connecting with people. I mean, there's so many millions of people all through the social media platforms. And of course, I love warm chatter. I love to talk to people every day, wherever I go. But There is a lot to like about our industry, not only about changing lives. It's a proven business model, schedule, job security, no employees, no overhead, work from anywhere, like a cruise ship, etc. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you have to really work hard." Yeah, but you know what I think is hard? I think hard is driving to work every day in the freeway, leaving your child in childcare centers, missing the ball games of your children. That's what I consider hard. So I would rather build my own business, and that's what I've done in 43 years. I don't want to build somebody else's business. I want to build my own, and that's what you have the opportunity to do. Great support. You get great support, and don't we have the best company now? While you get started, you have that we teach skills. We have these empowerment Zooms. We have training from all your leaders. We have amazing leaders coming from all over the world joining our company. So, people like systems, you have all of this available. All you have to do is show up. We have mentoring, continuous learning and development. We have recognition. We have motivation. I don't think they recognize you and give you motivation in the job journey of the broke. It's a circle of my like-minded friends. Everybody's happy and excited. There's no competition. We're all just moving. It's almost like we're a big flock of skylarks moving in all one direction. Some are going up, some are going down, some are going this way, but we're all moving in the same direction with a great vision to make everyone healthy in the world with this amazing new company. Anyone can do this if they want it enough. You could choose what you earn. How much money do you want to make? You write it down. Go make a check and write it out what you want. If it's $500 a week or more or 1,000 or whatever your number is, write it down, because what you visualize, so it shall be also. And then I would tell you to put those checks on your refrigerator, your car, your bathroom, and on your computer every day, because it keeps you focused. You get up in the morning and say, here's $1,000. I'm going to make that this week. And now you're kind of zeroing in on that. Otherwise, you're just kind of floating out there in the air thinking, well, I am going to make a lot of money, but you don't really have a specific target. I always knew exactly where my numbers were and what I wanted to make. Maybe you want to choose what you earn, car payment, house payment, and how much would that change your life? Think about it. What if you earned just enough to make a car payment and your house payment? Wouldn't that take a lot of stress off you? Wouldn't it be nice to make extra money for your children so when they go to college, they're debt free? Yeah, you can create. You just put more hours in and you just build an organization. That really is true wealth when you start building your empire. Now, I said a few minutes ago, there's timing in businesses that are more advantageous to grow quicker and bigger. And I think such is a time. I think it's like we're on the dawn of the industrial, or the 18th century of the industrial age, when everything changed in the world in the 18th century, from banking and systems. And, it was just a fundamentally transforming economics and social structures. That was the Industrial Revolution. Well, now we are in such a time called the AI revolution, which will be even more significant. AI will put all the knowledge of the ages at your fingertips through large language models. AI agents can do things that require reasoning and judgment like humans, etc. And do you know, in the last 12 months, companies have spent over $500 billion in AI to upgrade their companies, from farming to research to movie industry. Everything in the world is changing at like a lightning speed time. And in the next 5 years, they will spend over $10 trillion in upgrades. Now, what does that mean for the world? That means, according to the World Economic Forum, 39% of existing skill sets will be expected to become outdated by 2025 and 2030. And that means the world, you're going to see robots. They will be stalking shelves in Walmart. You will see driverless cars. I just saw this in Houston last month. I was there going out of a hotel and I saw a car drive up and someone got out and the car drove off. I said, well, there's no driver. I said, I don't want to be in that car. But it's changing. There will be 1 billion robots. The way your children live, your grandchildren live, will be unrecognizable. Now, what does that mean for people, mankind? Everything is changing. That means a third of the world's jobs will disappear. According to Goldman Sachs, 300 million people between Europe and US will lose their jobs. Now, so people are looking for opportunity. Yeah, I know in the spring, Google laid off 2,000 because they only need 4 people with AI to do what 2,000 did. They laid off 145,000 IT people in the summer. One of my leaders, she said she's an all-state recruiter. She said there were 70 recruiters. AI came in, 60 were gone. Guess what? Only 10 are remaining. So when AI comes into your office or your business, watch out. Warning, warning, warning. You're going to lose your job. So you got to be proactive and you got to really focus on your business and be looking for people who are in such a state at that time because they are scared and they don't know what to do. And I said, remember that I said that group of people that are in their 50s and 60s, they're more vulnerable because they're getting older, they're paid more, they have more perks, benefits. So they're the first ones to go. And so it's a good time to be recruiting. In fact, when I built my organization and my other first platform, I took advantage of these different times when the economy was down, people were out of work. I just did more building of my organization. So then when it came up and it was kind of a normal status, I had all of these people. And then when we went into another dip, I built another wave of people. And then I built leaders on top of leaders, which I want to talk to you about. And the interesting thing is we're going to be building these leaders that I'm going to talk about. You don't have to worry about AI because our industry runs on heart, human to human, face to face, belly to belly. Relationships are irreplaceable. Recruiting requires rapport and listening skills. Personal mentoring teaches newbies what they need to know. Coaching through life's ups and downs. AI and robots will not replace human relationships. Networking is a safe harbor in a turbulent time. So let's talk about how are you going to build and how do you work smart and not hard. And first of all, fast is better. I mean, you want to move out fast because, again, nobody's follows a parked car. I consider myself a big game hunter. I'm looking for people that want to run with me. I want the tigers and the lions. I think fast is easy. I think slow is hard. And the interesting thing about this, when we're going to build the leaders, we have to find who they are. What are their characteristics? Why do we want leaders? Well, first of all, the greatest leader of all develops the most leaders. And 1% of people write their goals down. 3% have their goals in their head. 69% daydream, and 27% have no goals at all. So, if you're going to build a board of directors, who would you want to be on your board of directors? Well, of course, you want the top 4%. But unfortunately, many times you target the daydreamers and the people with no goals, which is 96% of the people. And then you get frustrated. So I want you to kind of start visualizing. And when you make your list, think about who do you know that's a go-getter. Who's a go-getter? A go-getter is the one that gets the most done. They might be the president of the PTA. Maybe it's a person of the church, has the list of everybody in the church. You want people with influence, someone that comes in to the party and everybody goes there. Everybody likes to be around those people. They are influential people. And we want to build a board of directors of those type of people who see the vision, who are willing to work with you, run with you, not trying to drag people along with you. Another problem we have in our industry, too many people try to save the world. Well, of course, everyone is important. Every customer is important. But I want to tell you this story. It's almost like a lesson from Mother Teresa, who was a saint, how she walked the streets of India and she would say, "Come with me." She would try to reach down to pull them out of the gutter. And she'd, "Come on, come with me, come with me. I can save you." And some pulled themselves out and walked with her, and others didn't. She couldn't physically carry them. And I want you to remember this. You can't save the whole world. You must save the ones that want to be saved. And if you want to build fast, build a big organization, you work with the people that want to work with you to build more leaders along the way, the big game hunters that are going with you. Imagine this. Do you think that Google or Apple or Amazon has the dreamers and the people with no goals sitting around their board of directors? No, no. They're picking the smartest, brightest people. They are driven. They have idea. They're ID people. They're enthusiastic. They're smutty. They're financially thinking about how we can build. Those are the type of people that you want on your board. And then you spend 80% of your time working with those top, well, I always say top 20%, but really, if you look at this Harvard studies and the goals, it's really almost 4%. So I want you to think on your list. Go through your list. If you've had a list and nothing happened and you just keep recycling it, go make a new list and keep adding new people. I tell my people, talk to 10 new people a day. I don't want this one a week. It's going to take you forever. Slow is hard. Everybody should be talking to 10 people every single day because we have a movement. That's 50 leads a day. So maybe you talk to 10 a day in social media, warm chattering. A third are maybe don't respond. A third say, "Call me later." You get a third that say, "Yeah, they'll get on a Zoom." All you have to do in this business is talk to people, prospect, present, enroll, on board. That's all you have to do. It's a simple business. But the more people that you get in front of your leader and see the Zooms, the presentations, the more people you enroll. That's all it is. But it is so sad for me to see so many people get frustrated. And what they do, again, they zero in on the 96%, the daydreamers and the people that have no goals. And then they don't show up for a Zoom. And then they say, "Well, maybe I can't do this." Nobody wants to do it. And of course, what do I always say? How many people did you talk to? And I never say, "Did you talk this amount, 10 a day?" I say, "How many people did you talk to?" And they'll say, "Well, 3." Well, I said, 3? You haven't even started. You got to talk to 10 every day. And numbers never let you down, but people do. And remember this, always have belief in people, but don't believe them until the evidence appears. Because again, you have people on your team that you think that might be your board of directors and they're going to really run with you and you're excited, and then they don't do anything. They talk a lot, how much they're going to do. I work with the ones that are actually working and producing, not just talking. And this is why you have to work smart, not hard. This is just simple business strategies. So, and of course, imagine one good business builder, which is usually a dominant personality, that they are money and power driven, and then the eyes, which are enthusiastic and selling the idea and get, fun to be around. They're usually the ones on your board. The SCs that are steadiness and compliance usually take longer. And so it doesn't mean they're not going to be great, but let me tell you something, just not right now, because SCs take about 2 years because they want to learn everything about the product. And that's okay. They are great. We need them because they add so much value to our total team. But if you want to go fast, you can't wait for them 2 years. And frankly, yep, you don't need to be an expert on the product. That's Dr. Dan's job. And that's why they have the videos. That's why you have your 3 app. You just send. And think about this. If you become a walking advertisement and you're an expert on the science, people are going to say, "Oh, I couldn't do what you do. You're so smart. I couldn't do what you're doing." You got to kind of act like, "Oh, anybody can do this." You know, if it don't make it look like you're an expert on anything. Sometimes I look kind of dumb. I really, I didn't know that. And I have a method to my madness. And on a side note, don't ever get into discussions or fights with your people, even though you're frustrated and you want them to go and you're just trying to make them come along. No, or maybe you'll have one of those D's and those I's, and the D's are usually the ones tell you, well, maybe you should do this better and you should do that. And, say, well, you might have some great ideas, but for right now, we're going to continue with this. But I never get into a fight with my people. You get paid for biting your tongue. There's no sense in getting into drama. It's a waste of energy. All we're focused on right now, all of you on this call, is that we're going to build leaders. We're going to do the core 3. Everyone should be focused on core 3 and then getting those 3 all to get the 3, 3, 3. That's a simple system. And duplicate. It's prospect, present, enroll. That's all you have to do. But with these dominant personalities and eyes that are going to be on your board of directors who really move out fast, they will attract people like themselves. It's called the attraction principle. Yeah, they're like, if you just wrote down like from 1 to 10 on a piece of paper, the top 3 are your go-getters. And they will move out faster and quicker, and they will attract people like themselves. They actually will attract people all the way down to the 10s, but the 8, 9s, and 10s on the bottom, the people with no goals, no dreams, they cannot attract the top 3%. But the top 3% can attract, and the top 3% can attract other people like themselves. So you want to have great people as your core people who are willing to work, enthusiastic, no excuses, no drama. Let's go. We're on board. And then they will bring in, as an average, 1,000 people. It's called the attraction principle again. So imagine if you have 10 people and you've got these go-getters around your board, all having ideas, you're all moving together, they attract someone like themselves. And now that person brings in another 1,000. So now we have 10,000. Now we have 20,000. Those people attract, now you have 30,000. There's no magic to it. It's just numbers. It's just getting the right people. And so this is working smart, not hard. Like I said, I love all my people. And if someone says to me, and sometimes we have what we call energy suckers. Yeah, they suck your energy. They want a lot of attention, and we love all of them. But you have to be careful with your time too. This is just smart business. I might say to someone, if they kind of dump on you, I know you've all had those calls. They'll call you 100 wine. And then I'll say, you know what? I'm just not really a psychologist. Maybe we should open the yellow pages. I guess we don't even have that anymore. Let's look up on Google and find a psychiatrist. Maybe this person can help you. Because I'm not a licensed psychologist. I'm not the one to give them advice. So always I want to redirect it. Or I may have people that I want it more for them than they want it for themselves. And so what do I say? I say, apparently I want this more for you than you want it for yourself. But when you are ready to work, I'll be right here for you. But right now, I have to work with those that really want to step it up and work. And now what you've done, you've released the responsibility, you put it on them. And you You're not ignoring them, but you're letting them go. You're not trying to drag them and get sucked in to listening to all their excuses. You work with the top people because it is so important right now. With all these millions of people being laid off in our company, emerging company that we're in the foundation, going into the formation, getting ready to go into momentum, it's timing is everything. You can't fool around. You don't have time to get caught up with this other stuff. You have to be focused on building leaders. That is your number one focus because Daniel, Tyson, all of the great leaders, they need us. Our job is to build the sales force in the United States, globally, and we need great leaders. So I'm challenging every one of you to step up tonight and no excuses and find your board of directors and do the core three and then immediately get everybody to 3-star and then move up to 3-star pro, 4-star, 5-star. And this is how you build really massively too, is you build behind and you really see it in the core three is how I built. I always build a leader, they get to 3-star, and I teach those 3-stars. Okay, who's your next 3-star? You must be building behind. You don't get to 3-star and think you've arrived in your leader. No, that's just the first step. Now we got to move on to 3-star pro. But how do you get to 3-star pro? You build 3-stars behind you, and then they move up and you cycle more. And then you build more 3-star pros, and it moves you up to 3-star elite. And then you build more 3-star elites behind you, and then you get to 4-star, and then you go to 5-star. That's all we do is we build behind. You build that core board of directors, and then you zero in on their people that they bring in out of that 1,000, that new leader behind them, and you work with them, and everybody's pushing together. We move everything together collectively. And then all of a sudden, one day you wake up and say, wow, people say, how'd you do it? Well, I don't know. I just was doing what they told me to do. I just prospected, presented, and enrolled. I built my board of directors, and I was all in. And I want you to think that I'm all in. I'm 82 years old and I'm all in. People say to me all the time, I was getting my teeth cleaned today, and the hygienist said, well, what are you going to do when you go home? Are you going to go and rest? I said, rest? I have too much work to do. I'll rest. I'll sleep when I die. I don't have time. I was up at doing a Zoom at 7 a.m. this morning, and then I had an 8 with my team. And then I had 2 other Zooms in between. Then I ran and got my teeth cleaned. And then I came back and I have more Zooms after this. We all have to get that speed. Again, fast is better, slow is hard, and get all those racehorses behind you. And if it's like when I lived in Texas, I'd have somebody, I'd say, that person is just not moving fast. That dog just won't hunt. And so I'm looking for hunters, hunting dogs. I'm looking for tigers, lions who are with me. So tonight, when I get off, I want you to think about who are your lions and tigers? Who's with you? And if you don't have them, it's okay. What do? You go find them. You are the headhunter of your business. Isn't that exhilarating? You get to choose who you work with. You have to be careful. You just don't want everybody. I mean, everybody's important, but I like to have nice looking people too. I don't want to have people coming to my house that I have to turn off the porch light because I don't want the neighbors to see who I invited to my house. I want people that look sharp. They're professional. They're excited, and they show up. I don't want to be down on this level here. So I think you are all fantastic, and we owe it to our amazing leader, Daniel and Tyson. Don't we all love Tyson now? He's a great president. We're so grateful for him. And Kim Wee, is she the cat's meow? in a Samson. I mean, wow. You know what? That's another little side point. I only listen to Kim. I never listen to people below. I reach up. I don't take advice from broke people. I take advice from people who have made money. And so be very careful about that when you're prospecting. Don't let people try to rain on your parade. You get that goal, you make that checkout, and you get ready to go, and you run like your life depends on it. And I'll see you at the top. Have a great evening and happy Tuesday.